I saw the interview with Butch Harmon and Curtis Strange yesterday, and Curtis asked about Tiger since Butch was his first main teacher, and he said, you know, what I think it was, and I'm paraphrasing, kind of like what's holding Tiger back here, and he said ego, because Tiger still wants to hit it as far, if not farther, than everybody else, and I keep saying, if you have the mental capacity, remember he was the toughest guy mentally, great short game, he could putt, best putt, and like all these things.
Right.
Why wouldn't you just say, I'm going to beat you when I need to beat you, and that's on the green, instead of, you know, mine's bigger than yours, I'm going to hit at 320 and you hit at 319. Like he's gotten into that where, and I think that's been to his detriment.
Well, I guess that's one take. You know, I think Butch is a really, you know, he's a bright guy, and you know, I think that's a reasonable take. You know, personally, I think it's a little different than that. You know, I just think it boils down to maybe a little bit of that, but mostly in my mind, it's just technique. You know, if his technique were as good as Dustin Johnson's or as good as his technique used to be, he'd be able to swing. He'd be able to hit shots the way Dustin Johnson's hit them, the way he used to be able to hit them. His technique's just not anywhere near as good as it used to be.
But he doesn't put it in the fairway, though, Brandel, and Dustin does.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like he doesn't put it in the fairway, not because he's swinging hard. He's not swinging any harder at the golf ball, I promise you, from a percentage standpoint than Dustin Johnson is or Henrik Stenson is. He's not. He's a smart guy. Tiger Woods is not out there flailing away. Tiger knows he needs to put a number on the board. He's not up there just indiscriminately swinging as hard as he can. He just can't do it because his technique is sabotaging him. So he's never been without a teacher. He's finally without a teacher. And I know that he's trying to swing like he once did. Well, it's not as simple as that. Nobody can do what they once did at 42. But at Jack Nicklaus, you know, when Jack Nicklaus was 40, 41, 42, he was the best driver of the golf ball that ever lived, statistically ever. So, and that's because they had just started measuring the statistics. Imagine if they had statistics when Jack was 25. But Jack didn't change his body, and he didn't change his golf swing. So his swing lasted. Tiger's hasn't lasted because he chose to change it.
All right, I got an idea, and it's controversial, and maybe you could use it tonight with Rich.
I try to shy away from controversy.
Yeah. You haven't done a very good job there. You're not making the cut on that. Okay, what if you didn't have a cut at the U.S. Open or the majors? Because now I'm looking at this just as marketing, and if I'm a broadcast partner, TV, I still want to see Phil out there, Tiger out there, Jordan out there, Rory out there. Why do we have a cut in the majors?
You know, I've never been asked that question. I can't say that I've ever even thought about it, but in the middle of you asking it, I thought, you're damn right. I was like, I don't know why we have to have a cut. They can sit around and play all weekend long. Clearly they can. They're doing it now. Great idea. I'll give you credit for that one.
Well,
we'll bat it around on the set tonight. I love it.
Well, let's see who misses the cut, and then you could bring it up with you and Frank and Rich. I love the fact that you guys begrudgingly went into the topic of what would be a better story, Tiger winning or Phil winning. And I thought it came off great. I just thought it was, you guys framed it well, and it was interesting. But the obvious answer is Tiger, because Tiger, that would resonate worldwide. Phil, it would resonate with housewives and golf fans, the strong golf fans. But,
right. I was going to say, how many kids does Phil have? 3, okay, and his wife, and maybe there's 10 people in the world that might think Phil's winning would be a bigger story than Tiger.
Oh, it wouldn't even be close.
It wouldn't even be close. But, 50 years from now, people would be sitting around and they'd go, wow, there's only 6 guys that have won the career Grand Slam. And, historically speaking, it'd be unbelievable for Phil. But it'd be unbelievable for golf if Tiger Woods came back and won it. And I still think what he's doing right now, if he goes on, if he can find a way to win a major championship, I think it's a better story than, Ben Hogan's comeback. I mean, Ben Hogan didn't have to go deal with all this existential stuff that Tiger Woods did.
Well, wait. Hogan almost died, Brandel.
I know that, but Hogan didn't die, and the bones healed. And when Hogan was injured, he didn't come back and have to resurrect a golf game. Hogan was playing the best he'd ever played in his entire life when he got injured. So when he came back, he was in form, and he wasn't gone that long. And I'll tell you this: when you've been through the scandal, and when you've been through the scandal, imagine this: if you walked into a room with 1,000 people, and they all loved and adored you, right? Every single one. If they didn't say a word, not a word, didn't say a word, you'd feel it when you walked in. You'd feel it. And if you walked into a room where everybody was talking about you or had thoughts about you that were not, of the highest order, you'd feel that too. That energy, I think, made Tiger Woods a big part of what he was. And look, I'd follow him around when he first came back, 2010, 11, 12, and people would say the most unimaginably rude and offensive things to Tiger all during the day. They'd yell it out. Now, there are plenty of fans out there that love him, but there are plenty of yahoos out there saying horrible things to Tiger Woods as he plays. I mean, it just happened. We were on the set at Bay Hill. Live from was sitting right there. He was walking right behind our set. And a couple of yahoos said, just horrendous things to him. And he gets that pretty much all day long. That's pretty hard to deal with psychologically. Put all those things together, the body, the technique, the psychological, the scandal, the chipping yips. Nobody's ever come back from anything like what Tiger's trying to come back from.
You ever think you'll get an invitation to the yacht, Tiger's yacht?
I don't think I'll be having crumpets and tea with Tiger on the dinghy.
He might invite you on to throw you over.
Hey, listen, I like Tiger. I know, I'm sure he doesn't like me, but I'm a big fan. I have been sitting in a chair talking about Tiger Woods since 2004, and I've been talking about the greatest golfer ever, arguably one of the greatest athletes ever, who has decided to change the golf swing that made him the greatest player ever and change his body. I challenge anybody to sit there and talk about that every single night without saying it's the craziest thing in the history of sports. And it is. It's the craziest thing. Imagine if Michael Jordan changed his technique after 98, or pick any other superstar athlete who dominated and won at a level unlike anything anybody ever seen in sports, and they decided to change the technique that allowed them to do it and the body, not because they had to, but just because they were bored and wanted to. That's the craziest thing in the history of sports, not just golf. And so I've had to talk about it.
No, you did. You're just doing your job. And Tiger was...
That's right.
Yeah.
But, look, Tiger's best friends are some of the nicest people in the world. Nota Begay, Steve Stricker, John Cook. These are the nicest guys you ever meet in your life. I love those guys. They're great guys. They're friends of mine. So, Tiger, I have no doubt he's a nice guy. I'm sure he is. And I'm sure I'd like him. I just doubt that he'd like me.
Thank you, Brandel. Have fun tonight. We'll be watching.
Take care, Dan.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Brandel Chamblee, Golf Channel.